Woohoo! Yay! Welcome to today's video, which is all about fun with signs and the distributive property, which I know everyone always thinks distributive property, super fun, right? Exactly. And because it's such a fun time, I've invited the Bat Brothers to come visit us because not only are they excellently supportive friends when we're doing math and it's getting a little frustrating because they're always there to say, yay, we can do it. You could totally do this. But also notice that they are minuses. Now, these are really fun loving guys, but when they're on their own, a single minus is still just a minus. It's a negative. But if you bring a second minus to the party, oh my gosh, you end up with a plus. You see how I did that? That's so cool. There's two minuses. They become a plus together. Woohoo! Yay, party time. So I brought them along to remind us about that. And I thought before we got into the distributive property, which I know everyone's excited about, first we're going to take a little bit of time with just multiplying signed numbers. And I guess that was really important because I underlined it. So you can tell I'm very excited about this. And you'll notice with my multiplication, rather than writing multiplication with the dots, I've used parentheses. The reason for this is that whenever you're multiplying and you're multiplying signed numbers, with signed number means a number with a sign out in front, which is usually a minus. There are some times when you might see a plus out in front of a number. You don't have to write in the plus, but you could. That is an option. So anytime you're going to put pluses or minuses out in front of numbers, parentheses help to keep the multiplication clear, because sometimes if you've just got minuses and dots running around and possibly pluses, it's hard to know, are we subtracting? Are we multiplying? It can be confusing. So for clarity, I've used parentheses. I just love parentheses too. It's just something, I think they're awesome. So starting off, 3 times 5, just regular old 3 times regular old 5, by which I mean positive 3 times positive 5, equals, you got it, 15. Woo, yay! Off to an awesome start. Now, the next question is, what happens if you throw a single minus, just one Bat Brother, into the mix? Well, let's see. If I've got a negative 3 times a positive 5, or negative 3 times 5, that minus just hangs out when I'm multiplying. So a single minus when I'm multiplying means I end up with a negative result or a negative product. Okay, what if the minus is on the second number? That's fine too. You get the same result. A positive 3 times negative 5, or just 3 times negative 5, I get negative 15. Now, the real excitement happens when you bring negatives with both numbers. I've got my Bat Brothers to remind you. 2 minuses makes a plus, yay! So if you see 2 minuses in a row like that, negative 3 times negative 5, you end up with a positive product. Yay! So that's positive 15 right there. Woohoo! Okay, so very exciting. One other thing that I would mention, just because it's, interesting, useful information as long as we're partying with math, is I will remind you that multiplication done without writing in a multiplication symbol is known as implicit as opposed to explicit multiplication. It's implicit because it's implied. If I stick these two things next to each other, but there's no sign, no operation in the middle, then I know that's multiplication. The other thing I want to point out is something that a lot of books get very excited about, but was totally useless for me. However, I will point it out to you in case it's helpful for you. And that is that a lot of books look at these 4 results and say, wait a minute. In the case where you've got, bear with me here. There we go. In the case where you've got a positive 3 times a positive 5, or a negative 3 times a negative 5. So in other words, both numbers that you're multiplying together have the same sign, you end up with a positive product. So if it's the same sign, you end up with a positive product or answer. Product, ooh, you can't see that. Let me move that over a little bit. There you go. Product just means the answer you get after you've multiplied, that's all. And then here, if I've got a single negative there or a single negative there, so if they're different signs, unlike signs, -3 times +5, +3 times -5, different signs, you end up with a negative product. Oops, I started to write negative. That's just gonna, I can't write N and then product. That won't make any sense. Oh my goodness, have you ever had a morning like this? Yeah. Every day? Yeah. It's probably karma because I teach math. The universe is trying to be like, don't do that to people. Just let them sleep in. Let them have a good life. And the answer is, I think math helps you have an awesome life because then you can study lots more stuff. Math is the gateway to all sorts of really cool things you could learn about. Okay, so that is multiplying sign numbers. And I know you're all thinking, whoa, this could not get any better. And the answer is it's totally going to get better because now we're going to use, dun, 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 the distributive property. I know it's very exciting. And let me remind you that the distributive property, and I know I'm bringing in the red pen of destiny. That's just so I can get some contrast. Don't panic. It's really okay. It's a very friendly red pen. This is just really, look how happy it is. Look, I can do that thing where it looks like it's wiggling. Oh, I can't really. There we go. Ooh, okay, anyway. So I'm going to bring this in and I am going to use the distributive property. Notice I have two different problems here. The first time I'm going to distribute 3. And I'll remind you with the red pen, for contrast, that the distributive property is what I refer to in my classes as visiting the family. You are over here on the outside and you're going to go visit everybody in the family. So in other words, I'm going to take the 3 and visit the X. And then I'm going to take the 3 and visit the 5. And now here's the thing. There are 2 ways. You'll notice I just wrote out half of it and you're like, wait, where's the rest of the stuff? Well, there are a couple ways to do this. I have a really different way of looking at it. In my classes, negative signs belong to the number they come before. So I'm going to make this a -5, just like that. In order to do this, I have to put a plus in the middle. And you're going to say to me, wait a minute, there was no plus in the problem. And I'm going to say, yes, this is something that I do. I split it up with kind of an implicit plus in the middle. So x minus 5 is also, I'm going to do a little thought balloon. The way that, I don't know if that's saying that it's thinking this, but the way I think of it is x plus a -5. So that's what I'm thinking right there. I'm thinking x minus 5 is x plus a -5. And then when I multiply out, the 3 goes to visit the x. So I get 3x. And the 3 goes to visit the -5. 3 times -5 is -15. And notice that the plus is not necessary anymore. The plus gave us some breathing room so we could look at each piece of the distributive property. But as soon as we're done with it, we can go ahead and let it collapse. Every time you have a minus sign, there's a little plus there that would be happy to come in and support things, give you a little space, but you don't have to write it in every time. So it's up to you. So I've got the 3x and the 3 times -5, which is the -15. Okay, dun dun dun. Let's try the second one. Woohoo, this is very exciting. I can tell everyone is very excited. Let me draw in the distributive arrows. Do you have to draw in the distributive arrows? No, you don't. I just do it because I know that for a lot of people, it helps to remind them what's happening. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to put my little thought balloon here. every time I have a subtraction, I really have an addition problem. X minus 5 is just a shorthand way of writing x plus a negative 5. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to let my negative 3 go visiting. So my negative 3 is going to visit x. And then my negative 3 is going to visit negative 5. Now, at this point, some people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why did suddenly this get parentheses? And the answer is because, as you can see, I've got that plus in the middle. And if I just wrote plus a minus 3 times negative 5, it's legal. It's technically correct, but really confusing. And so again, if you're going to end up with extra signs running around, tuck them into parentheses so everyone can parse what you're writing, so they can read it. If you feel more comfortable, I know some people who are looking at this going, this is horrible, horrible, horrible. And that's fine. I would say, you know what? One rule that some people use is anytime a negative pops up, they put it in parentheses, just to remind themselves to keep the sign and the number together. The number that follows a sign owns that sign. It's kind of a weird convention. I wasn't there when they came up with that rule, but that is the rule, and that's the one we go with. So here we go. Don't blame the game. No, wait a minute. Don't blame me. Blame a tomato. There's something like that. Potato, tomato. There's something useful I could be saying, and I'm not thinking of it. Okay, woohoo, we're almost there. Are you guys excited? I'm so excited. Okay, so what happened? Well, when I multiply by negative 3 here, I end up with a negative 3x. That's not surprising. When I multiply by a positive 3, I got positive 3x. Negative 3 is negative 3x. So this, when we play the compare and contrast game, hopefully you did that in English, and now we can do it in math. We can see, oh, okay, if I stick on an extra minus there, I see it showing up right there. But that's not the only place it's going to show up, because the distributive property distributes all the way through. Everybody gets a little piece of that negative goodness. So the negative 3 comes out here, but then also, here are my Bat Brothers. Ooh, 2 minuses in a row. Negative 3 times negative 5. 2 minuses make a what? Oh, a plus. Party time with the Bat Brothers. Okay. Negative 3 times negative 5 equals positive 15. Again, let's compare and contrast. If you multiply by 3, you end up with a positive 3x minus 15. If you change the sign of 3, it's gonna distribute through, so it's gonna change everybody. Negative 3x plus 15. Woohoo! Hopefully that's a woohoo. I'm gonna slide this down a little bit in case you want to. Oh, why don't I spend 30 minutes trying to make this look good on the screen. Woohoo, get the Bat Brothers in there. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here for a second so you can do a screenshot if that helps. Woohoo, you guys are awesome. Remember, you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm far less scary than I perhaps appear from the whole math professor thing. I'm actually really a goofball with who says awesome and totally and has lots of puppets. So, having said that, good luck with the homework. You guys are awesome. Woohoo, math on.